not behaved like a clerk and downloaded those those IEBC, but you can tell actually from what the counties, how the number of registered voters in those counties, the voting patterns, and the experiences from before.
Okay.
And you can actually estimate.
Okay. Very interesting.
So, yes.
From my count, I think I got, was it 26? 26 counties were looking blue, meaning more than 50% is supporting Azimio, then 21 was looking yellow.
But it's the numbers of registered voters in those counties, not the geography.
Yes, I know. I'm referencing that to, I'm saying that because from their reports, they will tell us that Azimio strongholds about 20 or 21, William Ruto 16, then there'll be some battlegrounds like 10, then you'll find that in those 10, Ruto would lead in 2 or 3, then the others Raila would be leading.
And we will translate them into absolute votes.
Yes.
So that, I think that's what Koki is saying. But I think the map is not surprising us at all.
Okay.
It's a pretty expected map. So far, I think this one, some will not change much.
Sure.
The map as you're depicting it now may change very slightly.
Okay.
Even when you get 100%.
And speaking of the map and what is happening, at the local level, here are some updates of some of those key races, parliamentary races. For instance, what we're talking about, Wiper's Caleb Mule has beaten Victor Munyaka of UDA in Machakos parliamentary race. So Caleb Mule garnered 47,596 votes, and he beat UDA's Victor Munyaka, who got exactly 20,000 votes. Sorry, yes, Maendeleo Chapchap, that's correct. Molo MP Francis Kimani of UDA retained his seat. He garnered 34,005 votes. He beat Jubilee's Zakayo Gishuki, who came second, with a distance 9,888 votes. There's another race. Karoli Omondi of ODM clinching the Suba South MP seat with 25,036 votes. He beat an independent candidate, Stephen Sangira, who got 13,238. A final update for you of the National Assembly. Brighton Yegon of UDA wins the Konoin MP seat. He garnered 43,015 votes against independent candidate Sami Koech coming second with 14,425. And there was a high number of, higher, of course, 13 of independent candidates.
Oh, yes.
And at least so far from the tallies today, there's quite a few of them who've lost to party candidates. But, we're here to get the wider picture to be able to see what this means.
I just wanted to mention something. I was having this conversation with Balozi earlier on.
Yes. Caleb Muller, yes, there we go. Yeah.
The Member of Parliament that's going now, Victor Munyaka, has been on that seat since 2007.
Yeah.
See, the first time he came in on a Wiper ticket, or ODMK, remember 2007? In 2012, he switched gears to TNA.
Yes.
2017, switched to Jubilee Party. 2022, switched to UDA.
And that's where...
But now that's the end of the 9 lives. And it's a very interesting contest in Machakos Town because, yes, it has a little bit of cosmopolitanism, but not so much. Yeah. But it has always beaten Wiper candidates. And even this time round, the candidate that is winning is not from Wiper, it's from Maendeleo Chapchap. Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, and, of course, the contributions then of those members of Kenya Kwanza, particularly, Dr. Alfred Mutua, like we're saying about Wiper and the sort of, numbers that he is bringing, now is the point when, you start to see those dynamics in the different coalitions based on who is bringing what, how many members of National Assembly, County woman member, governors can you bring, and indeed also, most importantly, the number of voters that you can sort of contribute to the presidential vote. That's where now these are some of the conversations and analysis that we'll be going into as the numbers continue to come in, and then the whole question of, the basis and, the contracts and of the agreements, some of which have been made public, others are perhaps speculation, but now I think we'll start to see what happens within these coalitions, as the numbers come in. So, who's in, who's out, who's met their commitment, and who hasn't. That's the interesting thing. I think that will be interesting. Prof, when it comes to coalition building, of course, there was an interesting element, this time around with the amendments to the Political Parties Act to allow coalition political parties, perhaps, again, the issue of trust. That we've talked about here all evening, again, coming into play. And that was, I think, another interesting aspect of, the 2022 election.
The coalition political party, was brought in purely for two reasons. One is the political parties fund. Yeah. Now, we don't want to get into an election. Then you tell us that, but this is our vote. So now, for those who get into a coalition political party, the presidential vote is for the coalition. So you can then legally share it. I think that's the first thing. But the second thing was optics. That we want to go to my area and say, you are not an ex-candidate, you are our candidate because you're running on the political party. I think that's the first thing. But I think the other thing that's important is the element of coalition building, the element of trust, and we will need to look at it both before and after. As you rightly say, as now the votes come in, both in terms of whether you are the majority or minority coalition, what positions you get in the assembly, what positions you get in the Senate, and how that is then related to what you have and how the coalitions hold on. Yeah. It's something that I think is going to be clear. But the last point for me that's important is since 2002, it is now clear that this country will always have coalitions. So it's important that political parties and players start thinking and building coalitions and building that trust much earlier, not just a week to elections.
Yeah, and in other jurisdictions, you see coalitions that are built on issues. For instance, you would see one political party joining a coalition because of one single issue. One. It could be. I think we were saying this last night that maybe they want to come in and have better pay for teachers, and so the coalition will say, look, we'll bring in this party, and they come in with that agenda, pass the legislation, make it happen, and then after that, the coalition can break up and people go their separate ways until the parties sort of pick, the next issue, particularly the minorities, but then add on the numbers to the coalition. Hopefully we'll get to that. Are we there yet, Koki, where, you say that this party is bringing this one very specific issue to this coalition, as opposed to just the regional numbers?
Unfortunately, we are not there yet. And you are right, like, for example, some coalitions come together to defend the environment, like the Greens. Others come together backed by unions and so on and so forth. But we started with the concept of trying to base political parties on ideology. But we have seen that political parties are now not based on ideologies, but voting blocks, mostly ethnicity or blocks, support blocks, and therefore, and even the debate, the coalition parties that come together based on ideology and also on issues tend to focus their agenda and their conversation when they are selling their agenda on the issues that have brought them together. If you look at what we've been discussing for the past few months or years, you will find that the disconnect we are talking about between the politicians, the leaders, and the citizens, because the citizens want issues like the high cost of living being discussed. They want issues like healthcare, universal healthcare. They want issues like climate change being discussed. They want issues like sustainable development and opportunities and so on and so forth. Access to opportunities, gender equality, and all those issues. And in fact, you hear when commentators and people outside, they are discussing issues. But the politicians, when they go to campaign, they are discussing personalities and themselves, and they are focusing on irrelevant issues that are not, of interest to Mwananchi. So it is important, as we move forward, we can hope that during the transition period from our constitution of 2010 and the first election. Now, as we move by the 15th election, we hope that we can transition to ideology, political parties based on ideology, and that are public institutions of governance and democracy.
And that is a good place to finish. It is now 5 minutes after 2 o'clock on this 11th day of August, Thursday. It's now day 3. Balozi Kokimoli, thank you very much. Professor Colin Zodote and Angela Mbito from InfoTrack. We thank you for that. And Sam, move a little closer. So thank you, as well. As we say, it's from one to the next.
We've done something remarkable. As we came on, we were doing about 5.4 million total votes.
Okay.
We're now at almost 8.4. We just hit 8.4 actually as I was speaking.
There you go.
So we've counted 3 million votes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's from, let me just 25,908
actually,
polling stations.
It's gone up to 28,094.
Yeah.
So that's 61% of the polling stations that have been uploaded. So Kenyans, we've counted 3 million. We're not that slow, right?
Yeah. We are good for something. We are good for something.
Counting 3 million votes in 5 hours.
Yeah.
And IBC has not started since the day of election.
I done already. Thank you all so much. Next is Wahiga Mara and Trevor Ombija, whom I was with until 4 p.m. So they take over. They have their guests who are here as well.
4 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Time for us to take a rest, but like we said, you'll see a lot more of us. Yeah, we'll see you soon, in a few hours. So this is not good night or goodbye for now. This is, see you later. Let's leave you with those results that are really interesting for you to take a look at. Again, usiwe na maradhi ya moyo.
Just wait. So Trevor and Wahiga have a responsibility and duty to count 3 million.
Good.
So that by the
in 5 hours. Yes.
They should be at 11.4.
Yeah.
Going up.
Yes. So count wisely and count quickly. Yes, we're watching.
The bar has been set.
The bar has been set.
You cannot go lower.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and verify as well. Yeah, it's very important. So Trevor and Wahiga, make sure you get this right.
You don't need a mic.
No, you don't need a mic. Come in, Trevor. Just come in.
Counting. You don't need to speak.
You don't need to speak. Yeah, you can just count.
Just in the phone.
They look so scared.
Yeah, and they can't say anything. They've been gagged. They have been gagged for now, so it's all of the counting that's been done. Yeah, so the pressure is on you. Well, look at that.
So
well.
Let
me tell you what she's... Yeah, come over here. Let me tell you what Victoria has just done for you. She's increased, 1, your street cred. 2, I am very confident that with Victoria here, now you will do better than we will. So, it was a tall order.
Look, if 2 of us...
You can't say anything. If the 2 of us could count...
2 of us can count 3. You need to count 4.5.
Yeah. So can you do that?
By what time? In 5 hours time.
In 5 hours time, yeah.
You have all the time.
Yeah.
So 5 hours, they need to count 1 million every hour.
1 million every hour. 1 million every hour. And it's a good thing that they don't have mics, so they can't say anything right now. All they have to do is to just nod their heads and commit to doing what we have asked them to.
So Kenyans have... You know how to hold them accountable.
Yeah, hold them accountable. Yeah, all right, okay, bye-bye. Yeah, here are those results just so that you can make sure you know what we're dealing with. Let's take a look at those results now.
Haki Mungu ni wa maajabu. Ruto, jaribu kabisa. Kai, Trevor, tutako mbele. Hakuna